So in today's stock picking video, we're discussing the Palantir stock, ticker symbol PLTR. I'll be going over revenue, share price information, all the good stuff about this stock. Before we get into it, guys, if you could subscribe to the channel, I'm on a goal to get to 2,000 subs. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment on the video as well. Let me know your feedback. So we'll go a bit into what Palantir do. It's quite a complex company to talk about. You could spend a lot of time going over what they do, but I'll try and give it in a brief format. So what do? They make products for human-driven analysis of real-world data, and they're focused on creating the world's best user experience for working with data, one that empowers the people to ask and answer complex questions without requiring them to master querying languages, statistical modeling, or command line. To achieve this, they're building platforms for integrating, managing, and securing data, on top of which they layer applications for fuller interactive human-driven machine-assisted analysis. That might sound like very, very complicated, so just a bit of a quick example of what they do. They make sure all certain databases, and with what companies have, make sure all the data is in one database, easily accessible. Also good for analysing data. So they have the three products, which is the Palantir Gotham, Palantir Foundry, and the Palantir Apollo. 3 different products, which I'm not going to go too much into. You can sort of look at that yourself. It's just easily accessible on the Palantir website. But if you want to look into a bit more of what they do with regards to the data analysis and how they actually operate with these products, and feel free, I'll leave a link to Palantir's website in the description below. Okay, so now let's see what's been happening in the world of Palantir over the last week or so. So just this week, one ARK exchange traded fund has purchased some shares of over £1.2 million in the Palantir stock. So ARK Innovate ETF bought over 1.2 million shares of Palantir at Wednesday's closing price, and the valuation roughly of the amount of stocks purchased was at 26.5 million, which is only a small fraction of the total holdings of ARK. The ARK ETF overall is up 177% over the past 52 weeks. Obviously, it's always good if an asset management fund like ARK, who obviously own a lot of massive companies in their portfolio, such as Tesla, Square, just to name a few, Shopify, and they mainly look at stocks with potential for long-term growth. So the fact that Cathie wants to purchase more shares of Palantir shows you where I think this stock could be headed in the next 5 or 10 years or so. Other news also this week, Palantir CEO Carp has made some comments that have obviously been ruffling some Wall Street feathers. Carp was clear about supporting long-term retail investors over the institutional Wall Street investors. So this could cause quite a bit of a stir again between Wall Street and the sort of like Reddit community and obviously other retail investors. Whether more retail investors decide to put more money into this stock just as a bit of a middle finger to Wall Street, and then whether Wall Street could try short selling this stock again. It's just be interesting to see how those comments go down as well on Wall Street, but it's not clear right now because the stock market in general is down as a whole, so we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. So he's really given it to him. He's basically said that Wall Street's short-term focus is one of the most destructive and corrosive attributes of an otherwise interesting and large functioning system. So Palantir stock, we have seen massive drops this week, down to almost around the $20 mark, which is the lowest they've been for quite a while now. Obviously not since the IPO'd, but obviously it was at $45 at one point, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. A quick look into Palantir's revenue and earnings now over the last couple of years. I do like to see a good benchmark for a company, as I've always said in other videos, is the company has to have good earnings and good revenue, or good potential for growth in both aspects. So as you can see, in the last 3 years, Palantir's revenue has grown significantly, going over the £1 billion mark in revenue, which is a good sign. We've seen a good bit of growth over the last few years in revenue. But the one downside of that is, although they are making the money from sales of specific products, they're not keeping a lot of that in earnings. As we can see, the revenue is just over 1.09 billion, and the earnings is negative 1.17 million. So they are technically not a profitable company at the moment. The outgoings obviously do outweigh the revenue. So you've got to look at the rough with the smooth. What's the forecast potential for growth? Is it good? Is it bad? In the future, the revenue, this is off an analyst report on the Wall Street app. By 2025, the revenue for Palantir will be just under 5 billion, with them actually managing to end up keeping some of that in earnings, which is a better sign. The lines all going up in the right direction. We can see we're at 2021 now, where they're not really keeping any of the money It's all outgoings, but the revenue is continuing to grow, and therefore they will end up keeping more of that money in earnings. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the Palantir share price and how it's fluctuated, risen, fall over the last year or so. So as we can see, around about a year ago, it was hovering around the $10, $11 mark, maybe even a bit lower, with the average volume around between 12 and 50 million. And we saw it gradually go up. We've seen a good jump up to around the $29 mark here, and a good trading volume of over 200 million trades. We've seen it fluctuate up and down, up until we got to around January time. And then when we got to January, the share price of this stock absolutely shot up to almost $50. It got up to a high of $45. A bit up and down again before popping back up to the $38 mark. But since then, this was on February, the stock market in general has seen a general decline since then, as well as Palantir stock, and it's up and down, but generally it has gone down. We saw a bit of a rise back there up to the $26 mark, but as we can see now, it currently sits at $23. So it's taken quite a bit of a drop. But when we look at the next segment of what the analysts are saying about this stock and where the share price could be headed, or where it should be headed, it'll give you a bit more of a look into how this could be generally a great time to buy this stock right now at the current share price. Now let's take a look and see what the analysts are saying about Palantir's share price possibilities. So at the time we're recording this, they're at $24.32, and the analyst price target in the last 3 months has the average price of $25.85 with a high estimate of $40 and a low estimate of $15. So quite a few various bit of price ranges. But one of the main analysts, Brent Thill Jeffries, who ranked this at a buy 1 month ago at $40, he is ranked 53 out of 7,300 analysts on Wall Street and has had a success rate of 73% with 285 out of 390 ratings. So with this one, you probably... I see this as a long-term hold, so what would you with the price, how to get in on this stock? I'd probably buy it now, to be honest, put some portion of your money on this stock at the share price now, as it is quite low. It's even below the average price target and the high estimate, obviously, as well. Obviously, just keep trying buying the dips of this stock, and obviously it is one for the long term. I do think once revenues and earnings start picking up even more, we'll see, obviously, more of an increase in this stock share price over the coming months. So let's take a look at see what the big companies are doing with regards to how much they own of this company. I do think it is important to look at who owns a company and sort of what percentages of this company are owned by retail investors and institutions, and obviously other limited companies as well. So the top 25 shareholders of Palantir own 31.72% of the company. As you can see, there are some big names on there, such as Vanguard, who owns a small percent, 1.13%. We could expect that to increase in the future. It just depends on how Palantir perform, as well as BlackRock. And the top holder is Peter Thiel. Many of you may know his name. He was a co-founder of Palantir and also of PayPal as well. He has a net worth of over $4.9 billion. Very, very wealthy man. He is the current top shareholder on this list of 6.61%. Just worth to know as well, you can't see ARK on this list at the moment, which shows you they don't actually own a lot of shares in comparison to some of these, but I do expect ARK Invest to purchase more shares of Palantir in the future. So the ownership breakdown, we can see the general public own a majority of the shares, which is not the best sign at the moment. 63% own, which could be why Alex Carp sort of praised more at the retail investors rather than the big Wall Street guys. So they own 63% of the company, as well as 20% into institutions, 9.7% in individual insiders, and then 5.9% in public companies. So general public still carrying the weight of the ownership of Palantir at this moment in time, but I do expect to see that decrease, not because they invest less, but because big asset management funds such as ARK Invest will start purchasing more shares of this company, especially as time goes on. And with the forecast revenue growth, you can see why they'll be interested. Don't forget to give a like on the video as well if you like it. And just obviously, like I said, let me know in the comments what you think of this company, if you want to buy it, if you don't, or give me reasons why you don't want to buy and sell it. Let's get the interaction going in the comments. So on that note, take care. Bye.